I found my fez. It still fits. I can't believe I never did any of my casebooks last year with this fez on. I think I used my wizard's hat, but I definitely didn't use my fez. Betcha no one's ever done a casebook entry in a fez. Anyway, time for creative collaboration. So, because our mini brief requires us to have an animatic, Annabeth decided that now would be a good time to teach us the animatic software, Storyboard Pro, which I mentioned last year because she introduced it last year and then never came back to it again. And now she's done one lesson on it and assumed that we'll all be gods in it by the end of the week. It is a very simple software. If you understand Toon Boom, then you'll understand Storyboard Pro. And therein lies the problem. The good news is on that front that we have a Bulgarian teaching assistant coming, and she's apparently a Toon Boom god. So if she can't teach me Toon Boom, no one can. After Annabeth had briefly reintroduced us to Storyboard Pro, which didn't take long, I then did some concept art, which I'm going to put up on the screen now, so pose at your leisure. I'm focused on the eagle because that's sort of the element that we haven't really sort of got properly. Like, we know we want a silhouette, but we haven't really got anything, you know, up close and personal with it. So that's why the big one is sort of my favourite, because it's actually well designed. I thought about doing cartoony work, so like making it shorter and fatter and look sort of grumpy and brooding, and then as part of that I decided to make a smaller beak and then big eyebrows, and then I realised I made Terrence from Angry Birds, so I just abandoned the entire thing. Nevertheless, I am very proud of the eagle that I drew, the big one, so I think it's only right to christen him, and therefore his name shall be Squawky. Annabeth also heavily suggested that we watched this guy called Dermot O'Connor, who's like a professional animator, and he's got all this thing about storyboards and all these masterclasses and stuff, but they're all on LinkedIn and you all have to pay for them. So, I mean, I have a LinkedIn account, but I'm not going to pay for those because I'm scared. So instead, I watched the Ed Hooks interview that Johnny suggested. So Ed Hooks is a man, and he kind of looks like Dr. Farnsworth from Futurama. He told a number of loose anecdotes. My favourite was when he was talking to a guy who worked on Big Hero 6, and how they were discussing Ed Hooks' favourite scene, which is when Baymax is all deflated, and how the original idea was Baymax in a shopping cart, and how that would have been so much less funnier, because, you know, just Baymax in a shopping cart, you push him, he crashes. I mean, that's about as much jokes as you can get. But if you have Baymax deflated, it's a lot of very weird things can happen with that, and you know, it just makes for a better scene. And they discussed this, and it was good to see two animators discussing how it wasn't like just them deciding, oh, that's better because it just works better. It was more centered around the fact that this is funnier and we know why it's funnier. So yeah, that was kind of cool. Basically, it's one thing to know what went wrong and what you can do to fix it, but it's another thing to know why said thing went wrong and why this new thing is better. Anyway, it was a decent interview, informative, entertaining, so thank you, Johnny. Appreciate the notification that it existed. And that's about it for this session, so thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you next time. Cheers, ham!